So welcome to Jumbo IS and welcome to our lecture series called Daily News in Shorts. In this lecture series, we cover a particular day's current affairs in a short span of time. Now let me tell you in advance only, today's lecture is going to be extra short and extra crisp because there are not many topics that are going to be discussed in today's lecture because today's newspapers were not that heavy when it comes to news related to civil services examination, right? That is why today's lecture is going to be short and crisp. I'm telling you in advance. Nonetheless, no matter how short the lecture is, you will not forget to revise it. You will not forget that, no matter how short the lecture is. So please revise this lecture. Just after watching it, you have to revise it from the notes provided by us on our Telegram channel, and the link to our Telegram channel is provided in the comment section below this video. All right, so let's begin this short and crisp lecture. Okay, let's start. Daily Current Affairs, 7th August 2025, Thursday, and here is the topics list. Okay, 3 topics only. Techno-Capitalism, because there was an article in the Hindu newspaper as well as Indian Express. Okay, so Techno-Capitalism, what is Techno-Capitalism and why they say it is on the rise, especially when we talk about USA and the policies applied by Donald Trump. Okay, then we'll talk about site scheme. This site scheme is basically to promote green hydrogen. Okay, and we have discussed green hydrogen, we'll discuss it again. And in the end, we'll talk about hepatitis D virus, a carcinogen. Recently, WHO has classified hepatitis D virus as a carcinogen. That means it causes cancer. Clear? So these are the 3 topics that we shall zero in our attention on. Let's start discussing them one by one, starting with techno-capitalism. Okay? Now hear me out carefully because this is a conceptual topic. Not many facts are there for you to remember. It's not a topic that you can cram. It's a topic that you can understand. So hear me out carefully, okay? What is capitalism? Well, capitalism is that type of economy in which private capital, private money decides what goods and services are going to be produced, how they are going to be produced, and how they are going to be distributed. Okay? So capitalist economy is that economy in which all economic decisions are taken by private capital, people who are holding that private capital, money basically, right? So there are 3 basic decisions that are taken in any economy. Clear? Number 1 is what to produce, what goods and services to produce, how to produce, that means the production processes, and third, how to distribute them among people, among consumers. These are the 3 major decisions, and in a capitalist economy, well, these 3 decisions are taken by private players, private capitalists. Clear? In a socialist economy, these decisions are taken by government. Government decides what is going to be produced, how it is going to be produced, and how it is going to be distributed. That's the difference between capitalism and socialism. Okay? Now leave socialism aside. Let's focus on capitalism. Okay? So you understood what's capitalism? Now there is a new term that is being floated around, okay, and that is called techno-capitalism. Now the 3 decisions of economics, basic economics, okay, what to produce, how to produce, and how to distribute. These 3 decisions are taken not only by private capital but also technological innovation. Technological innovation plus capital decides how the economy is going to run. In fact, private capital also follows innovation. Wherever there is innovation, money would follow. Right? That is why USA's economy is ruled by these big tech companies. Google, Facebook, Amazon, these big tech companies are ruling USA's economy. And now tech companies are ruling all the other major economies as well. Gone are the days when, well, you only needed to have capital and then you could rule your country's economy. Not anymore. Okay? Now it's not just about the money. It's also about technological innovation. This thing is known as techno-capitalism. Okay? And it is on the rise as far as USA is concerned. And this rise of techno-capitalism, especially with the coming of Donald Trump, is also creating challenges for India. What are those challenges? We'll talk about that, and we'll also talk about techno-capitalism. Okay, so let's discuss this. So techno-capitalism, okay, Basically, all the major economic decisions are taken by tech innovation and capital. In fact, capital also follows where there is tech innovation. That is why tech companies are ruling that economy. Clear? This is techno-capitalism and it is on the rise. But with the coming of Donald Trump, it's not just techno-capitalism that is on the rise, it is also techno-nationalism. Now, what is techno-nationalism? This is very important. And well, these are keywords. Techno-capitalism, techno-nationalism, these are keywords. You have to remember these keywords so that you can use them in your mains answers during exams. Okay, so remember these keywords. So what is techno-nationalism? You all know that tech companies compete with each other, right? Now there is a tech company in China, there is a tech company in USA. Now they are competing with each other. Earlier what used to happen was they would compete with each other and whichever company does the best job of technological innovation, that company used to win, right? But today that is not the case. Today the governments are also supporting their national champions. Today China is supporting its tech companies so that tech companies of China beat all the other tech companies. And because of that, now USA, especially Donald Trump, is supporting his own tech companies so that these tech companies achieve dominance all over the world. They beat all the other tech companies. Now government is taking technological innovation and these tech companies seriously. Now there is a secret but very strong, firm handshake between government and a private tech company. Earlier that never used to happen. Okay, there is a strong connection. This is known as techno-nationalism. My tech company should win. My country's tech company should win. And government would do everything in its power to support its tech company. Okay, this is techno-nationalism. And techno-nationalism is the result of techno-capitalism. Clear? Now let's talk about some of the features of techno-capitalism. Okay, so in techno-capitalism, tech companies, well, they rule, right? They decide economics. Okay, economic distribution of capital also. Tech companies are the masters. Then capital follows tech innovation. Okay, so money would go or investment would only go towards those companies which are innovating a lot. Okay, so capital follows tech innovation. Clear? And the third feature of techno-capitalism, which is borderline feature of techno-nationalism also. This is a very important feature. Okay, now you see, well, the thing is, you must have, I'll explain this third feature with an example. You must have heard about this thing called ethical AI, right? AI has a lot of advantages, but AI can also be misused and can also have some disadvantages, right? Therefore, countries all over the world and experts all over the world are saying that we need to develop AI, we need to innovate more on AI, but we need to stay focused on ethical AI so that we can reap all the benefits of AI and push aside the disadvantages of AI, right? Ethical AI. Now, for ethical AI, you need strong regulations, rules and regulations, right? Therefore, European Union and many countries of the world are developing strong rules, strong guardrails so that these tech companies do not misuse AI and they develop AI within the ethical framework. That is why they have created so many rules. But the problem with too many rules is that it sometimes harms or tramples over innovation. Because there are so many rules that these tech companies have to follow, well, they cannot innovate. They don't feel free to innovate. It harms their innovation, it harms their R&D also. So they always complain about these rules and regulations, bureaucracy, and they say that we are not free to innovate, right? And they say Because of that, innovation is suffering. Clear? Makes sense? Now this happens, but well, we are paying this price of less innovation because we want to develop ethical AI. Right? Makes sense? But this is not the case with Donald Trump. Donald Trump knows that these regulations are keeping AI in the ethical framework, but it is also suppressing innovation. So what is Donald Trump trying to do? Donald Trump is basically removing these regulations. Okay? No ethical framework. Do whatever you want to do. Just achieve dominance in the field of AI. And why is Donald Trump doing that? Donald Trump knows that if we regulate AI too much, well, China is going to develop AI and then achieve dominance in the field of AI. And if China achieves dominance in AI, China will be the next ruler of the world. So we can't have that, right? Therefore, remove all regulations. Clear? Because again, this is what techno-nationalism is. Our companies should be the dominant companies. Okay? Basically, you are using tech innovation for your own geopolitics. This is what techno-capitalism and techno-nationalism is all about. Okay? You are using dominance in the tech field for geopolitical aims. Okay? Make sense? So this is what techno-capitalism is. I hope you understood techno-capitalism, techno-nationalism. Now use these words in your answers. It would really make your answer appear more academic. It would really impress the examiner as well. So use these keywords and underline them also. Clear? Now, this techno-capitalism is on the rise as far as, well, USA is concerned. But because this techno-capitalism is on the rise as far as USA is concerned, well, it is harming India. And for India, the future also doesn't look that bright. Now, what are the disadvantages for this rise in techno-capitalism for India? Okay, what are the disadvantages this techno-capitalism has for India? So look, if AI is allowed to develop freely, AI will be developed, automation will be developed, right? And we all know that AI and automation is replacing many jobs. Now, India exports a lot of services. So many service sector jobs that India exports to US, they will get lost. India will lose out on export revenue because India exports tech services as well. Now, if AI comes, it gets automated. We won't be able to send our experts to USA because, well, most of their job would be done by AI. So this is one threat for our services sector. Then, well, visa uncertainty. Well, Donald Trump thinks that if more Indians are working in India's tech companies, they can steal, if more Indians are working in America's tech companies, well, they can steal sensitive information from America's tech companies and bring them back to India. What China used to do with USA. Therefore, they are not very happy about Indians coming to USA and working in these tech companies. Okay, so they have created this visa uncertainty. Now H1B visa is a little bit strict. Okay, then the thing is that if USA is blocking our access to techno-capitalism, okay, we should develop techno-capitalism in India. But the problem is that tech innovation in India is not that high. Okay, I'll give you an example, and this is very good example, and you should quote this example in your answers as well. Okay, you see, when it comes to R&D spending, because tech innovation requires spending on research and development. Do you know India's R&D spending is just 0.7% of its GDP? You know what is it for USA? For USA, it is 3.5% of their GDP. And even China spends around 2.5% of their GDP on research and development. And their GDP is also quite huge. So India underspends. And that is why there isn't going to be much tech innovation. So we can't develop that much techno-capitalism in India to compete with America and China. So this is a problem. We need to increase our R&D spending. Then, well, Indian startups face a lot of challenges. Well, not many funding or funds are available to fund these innovative startups in India, which is available in USA. USA, well, the investors have very deep pockets. They are ready to spend a lot of money on innovating startups. That is not the case with India. Plus, governmental support to these startups is also not available in India to that extent as it is available in USA and China. So this is a problem. And policy issues. Well, no long-term policy. There are some mismatches, some contradicting points in policies. So there are some policy issues as well. Clear? That would be all. All right. Okay. Now let's quickly shift our focus to site scheme. Now we have discussed green hydrogen, right? Well, Government of India is promoting hydrogen. Why? Because hydrogen is a cleaner fuel than fossil fuels. If you are running a car on fossil fuels, well, polluting gases are released, greenhouse gases are released along with energy. But if you burn hydrogen instead of fossil fuels, well, energy would be produced, and the only byproduct that would be produced would be water, which is not a polluting gas, right? So government is trying to replace fossil fuels with hydrogen. We are trying to do that. We are promoting hydrogen. Now, hydrogen can be produced through two ways. Either from natural gases, okay? So you take natural gas and you produce hydrogen from it. But this process also emits greenhouse gases, okay? So this is problematic. You can also produce hydrogen by basically splitting water molecules, okay? So you take a jar of water, you split the water molecule into hydrogen and oxygen. As you all know, water is H2O, and you produce hydrogen. Now, this doesn't emit any greenhouse gases. So this is a better way of producing hydrogen, right? This is known as green hydrogen. Clear? Now, government is trying to promote the production of green hydrogen through National Green Hydrogen Mission. And within National Green Hydrogen Mission, there is a scheme called site scheme. Okay, so let's talk about this. So site scheme. Clear? So, well, when you produce hydrogen from natural gas, this emits a lot of greenhouse gases, but hydrogen is also produced. This hydrogen is known as grey hydrogen. Okay, hydrogen can also be produced by splitting water molecule through a process called electrolysis. Okay, this process does not emit any greenhouse gases. Okay, if the electricity used for electrolysis is also coming from solar or wind energy, it is a very good situation. There won't be any carbon emissions. This hydrogen is known as green hydrogen. So government is promoting green hydrogen. Clear? Now, green hydrogen can be used to replace fossil fuels. It can also be used to produce ammonia. Okay. Now, ammonia is one such gas which is used in production of fertilizers also. Okay, so it is a good thing. I mean, production of green hydrogen has many advantages. You can use it to produce energy, you can use it to produce ammonia, which will be used in fertilizers and many other things. We'll come to ammonia later. First, let's talk about site scheme. Okay, now what is site scheme? The full form of site scheme is Strategic Intervention for Green Hydrogen Transition. Okay, remember, we are focusing on green hydrogen, not grey hydrogen. The government is spending 17,490 crore for this site scheme. What will happen? Well, government will incentivize the production of electrolyzers. Electrolyzers are those machines where you split the water molecule into hydrogen and oxygen. Okay, so government is going to provide you with subsidies, financial incentives to produce more electrolyzers. Okay. Government is also going to provide you financial incentives if you manufacture green hydrogen. Basically, the objective of site scheme is to improve domestic production of hydrogen. We do not want to be import dependent when it comes to green hydrogen. We want to increase its domestic production. That is why site scheme was launched. Now, this entire site scheme will be basically implemented by Solar Energy Corporation of India Limited, SECI. Clear? This is site scheme. Clear? Now, why was this in news? Because recently what happened was that, well, green hydrogen was produced under site scheme. Okay, this green hydrogen was used to produce green ammonia. And then this green ammonia was auctioned. Okay, and in that auction, you see, many people used to criticize green hydrogen and green ammonia. You know why? They say it is a costly thing. It is very costly. The production process is costly. The price of green hydrogen and green ammonia is very costly. But recently, green ammonia was sold through an auction at a very low price, historically low price, which tells you a lot. It says that the production of green ammonia can be economically viable also for private players. Earlier, private players were not investing in green ammonia. Why? Because they thought of it to be too costly. Now they are ready to do it because now if the price is low, they are ready to invest in green ammonia. Okay, because now it is economically viable, economically profitable as well. So this was the news. So that is why many people were saying that this is all because of the good implementation or the perfect implementation of site scheme. All of this was possible because of site scheme, and that is why site scheme was in the news. Clear? Now some facts about green ammonia. So green ammonia, look, we produce ammonia. And how do we produce ammonia? We combine nitrogen with hydrogen, and that's how we produce ammonia, right? Now, if this hydrogen is green hydrogen, okay, and this nitrogen is also, well, nitrogen is very abundant, okay. So if this hydrogen is green hydrogen, that means you are producing this ammonia without emitting any carbon, okay, without any carbon emissions. That's how you are producing this ammonia, okay, because green hydrogen is produced from electrolyzers, okay, and these electrolyzers run on renewable electricity, right? So the ammonia that is produced from green hydrogen or from renewable energy is known as green ammonia. Now, green ammonia is used in many places. It has many applications. It can be used to produce fertilizers like urea and all. It can be used to produce clean fuel for use in vehicles. It can be used to store surplus renewable energy, surplus solar energy, wind energy. So for energy storage as well. Clear? The benefits are many. It will reduce carbon emissions. It will allow India it would help India towards clean energy transition. And if we use green hydrogen, green ammonia on a mass scale, it would reduce our dependence on fossil fuels. And most of our fossil fuels are imported. So it would reduce our import bill as well. So this is another advantage. Clear? That's it. And now let's move on to our last news item, and that is hepatitis D virus, a carcinogen. Now it's a very short news. Listen to me carefully, okay? You see, whenever you hear the term hepatitis or HEPA, H-E-P-A-T, whenever you hear that word, just remember that this is related to liver, okay? Now, hepatitis viruses are that type of viruses which affect your liver and in advanced stages can also cause liver cancer. Now, there are many types of hepatitis viruses, okay? 3 are very damaging, okay? Hepatitis B, hepatitis C, hepatitis D virus, okay? Now, earlier WHO had declared hepatitis B and hepatitis C to be carcinogens. Carcinogens are those substances that cause cancer, because there were many cases when a person was infected with hepatitis B or hepatitis C virus, and in advanced stages, well, it led to liver cancer. Okay, that is why WHO classified them as carcinogens, cancer-causing substances, things. Okay. Now, recently, WHO has also classified hepatitis D as a carcinogen, because hepatitis D can also cause liver cancer. Okay, that was in the news. Clear? That's about it. Okay, but we need to know about hepatitis virus, so let's talk about this. Okay, so hepatitis D virus, a carcinogen. So it was declared by WHO. Now remember, whenever you hear the term hepatite, okay, that means it's related to liver. Okay, and whenever you are infected with any type of hepatitis virus, it leads to liver infection or it damages your liver. And liver is one of the most important organ. It is basically one of the largest organs in your body also. One of the largest organ is skin, but one of the largest organ in your body is liver, and it performs a lot of functions. Okay, hepatitis viruses damages that, causes liver infection, and in advanced stages can even cause cancer. Clear? Now, the two viruses, hepatitis B virus, so known as HBV, hepatitis B virus, hepatitis C virus, they were already declared carcinogens by WHO. Now, recently, hepatitis D virus, HDV, has also been declared a carcinogen. Clear? That's the thing. All right. I'm so sorry about this. So that's the thing. Yeah. Clear? Not cloudburst. Okay. It is from the previous day's news. This is from previous day's news. Don't focus on this. Okay. Yeah. So hepatitis D virus. Now, about hepatitis D virus, you need to have some extra information about hepatitis D virus. Okay. So hepatitis D virus is basically a type of virus. Now remember this part, this is very important. Hepatitis D virus happens if you already have hepatitis B virus. It never infects you alone. This is something special about hepatitis D virus. Hepatitis D only occurs when there is already hepatitis B. It won't come to you alone. Clear? Now, if you already have HBV and then you have HDV, it aggravates the symptoms like anything. Okay, then your symptoms and your disease progresses like anything. You are more ill. Clear? But if you do not have HBV, you cannot get HDV because HDV cannot survive without HBV. But if you have this twin infection, then symptoms are fatigue, jaundice, nausea, abdominal pain, dark urine, and this is mostly misdiagnosed. And in advanced stages, it can cause cancer, liver cancer. Mode of transmission, how do these viruses are transmitted from one place to another? Yeah, through infected blood, unprotected sex, unsafe injections, vertical transmission, mother to child. What is the treatment? No HDV specific vaccine, and HBV vaccine is the only preventive measure. There is no HDV vaccine, hepatitis D vaccine. The only thing you can do is, well, do not get hepatitis B, HBV. Don't get HBV, and then you can be protected from HDV. Okay, so there is no HDV vaccine. There is only HBV vaccine, and that is given to people so that they don't get HBV. Because if you have HBV, your chances of contracting HDV is high. Okay, so these are some of the facts with respect to hepatitis viruses. So just go through them from your notes. And that would be all as far as today's lecture is concerned. Okay, I told you today's lecture is not that lengthy. So it is easy for you to complete this lecture, but please do not forget to revise it. This is very important. Please do not forget to do that. And I shall be signing off with the promise of seeing you again with another set of news items. Thank you, everyone.